Welcome to the new setup here, right? For the podcast. This one, I wanted to go ahead and just talk about real quick the MPL season 13, because we're 1 week in, and tomorrow, by the time I post this or whatever, we're going to be on week 2. So I wanted to briefly talk about that because it's been a minute. I mean, it's been a while since I've really talked about MPL or anything really, especially on this channel. So I want to share some stuff with you guys too that's going on right now. So grab your food, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, whatever it may be. Let's get to the episode. Again, MPL season 13 is well underway. We're 1 week in, and I got to cast on Sunday. And it was a very eventful week 1, I would say. I mean, there was a lot of sweeps. You guys would know this. And for me personally, now that this is my 6th season being a part of the MPL Philippines, man, that is crazy, number one. I can't believe it's my 6th season already. I feel like I just started, honestly. But I was very excited for this season to start. The off season is quite long, you know? And for me, I did not, to be honest with you guys, I had no expectations for this season, and part of the reason why that was is because again, I was during the off season, I was really focused on a lot of my own stuff going on and kind of going through that to the point where season 13 kind of just snuck up on me. Honestly, it felt like that, even though it was a long off season. And I knew that there was a ton of changes for rosters and teams and imports going everywhere and all that stuff. And for me, I kind of went into season 13 not knowing a bunch, until maybe a couple nights before, the week before or something like that, when I really kind of sat down and was like, all right, I need to kind of focus on prep here for season 13. And so it was kind of fun because, and the reason why I say it's fun is because approaching the season that way and not being 100% studied, I should say, is probably the right term, on all these teams, all these changes, was kind of exciting when I got to the preparation point for week 1, where it was okay, some of the rosters are really different, and you have names and these star players on different teams and everything. And I thought that shook things up a lot going into week 1. And I did not expect so many sweeps though, to go off the bat. I think some people would say who's your favorite team for the season, all this stuff. I've always said RSG. RSG has been a team that I've loved watching and I've loved being a fan of. They're still there. I'm glad to see Demon Kite back, of course. It's just I have developed a love, or I shouldn't even say I developed a love. I've rekindled a love with AP Bren. And for some of you guys that may have been following me before when I was even just streaming, man, I was always a Bren fan. That's actually the first team when I first started watching professional MLBB. It was Bren. Bren Lung Malakas. They were the first team that I was really rooting for and that I was a fan of when I was just a viewer. And I kind of stumbled upon esports in general, right, here in the Philippines. And so over the past year, I've rekindled this love for Bren, the organization, now AP Bren, all their players, of course. Last year was kind of a big part of that, where I got to kind of see their world tour personally and some of their visits, right? Out in Riyadh, Romania, since I got to cast that stuff. And since then, I've just fallen in love with the players, the teams. Obviously, Coach Ducky's amazing, great guy. I love the philosophy and the values that he instills on the team. And so it's hard not to root for AP Bren, man. And I think even coming into season 13, that would be my team that I'm still rooting for to win it all, so to speak, because I'd love to see AP Bren go to MSC and win MSC, right? That's what I would love to see happen. So, as far as my predictions going into this season, honestly, I don't have any right now, except that AP Bren's probably at the top of the list, right? They're going to be what I think is number 1, and I think they've showed it based off week 1. The rest is really up in the air for me, especially after watching week 1. I don't know how you guys feel, that are fans of the MPL Philippines. But I mean, even some of us share on the desk, the English desk, like, a lot of this is curveballs. Like, there's a lot of curveballs. There's a lot of, even to an extent, like Echo experimenting with, a couple, not new players, but in the lineup, right? With Zaida and Outplayed, I think it was, and on Sunday. Like, there's a lot of curveballs that are still up in the air that can change over the course of the next couple weeks. Now, again, the regular season is going to be 7 weeks instead of 6 like last season. And then we have, of course, like the playoffs after that break. And I think that's exciting because you get 1 extra week of the regular season. And then you see kind of like what changes, what developments are going to happen with the teams. That's always the exciting thing for me from season to season. Not to mention Gord is still viable. Hey, we got to see him picked up a couple times, not just here, but in NACT as well. Might not have the best win rate, but I'm still happy to see Gord where he is, right? But without making this too long, I mainly just wanted to go ahead, first off, try this format and with this new setup and stuff for the microphone and everything. But generally just saying that I think so season 13 is going to be exciting. I think this is also the season where we still have like these legendary names and players that we're building a story on, but it's also a season where we get to focus on some of the newer names that stepped up and some of the newer combinations of these team formats and everything. And I think that's where it's exciting because, again, eventually your mainstay star players that have been around forever are eventually going to be replaced with these newer players. And that's where, it's our job as casters to build those stories and basically just build the narrative, build the narrative for a lot of these new faces, these new combinations, these new organization combinations and everything else, I think that's a big part of what's exciting for a lot of us casters is pushing the old narratives on some of the players, but also building these new ones to share with you guys on the broadcast. So for me, season 13 is it's a little more relaxed. I think that's the theme that they're going for too. And when I say relaxed, I just mean, season 12 was all about very professional, very serious, very we're gonna rule the world type thing, and then we become champions. And now I feel like there's a little bit of a relaxing going on in general, even broadcast wise. But obviously the goal and the idea is to still win MSC ahead of us. Huge prize pool, by the way, 3 million prize pool. And of course, MLBB globally just keeps getting more competitive, right? So I think that's a huge part. So it's like the theme of the season is a little more relaxed, a little more enjoyment and fun. And that's what you'll see from like graphics and, even the narratives and what we share as casters. But obviously, like, Philippines still wants to stay on top. We still want to be, obviously we're world champions. We want to be the champions of MSC heading into us. And there's a ton of online, there's a ton of tournaments going on this year. Not just, obviously the MPLs and the M series, but there's a lot going on. I mean, even being a part of Games of the Future, which we got to cast a little bit of, and of course AP Brand 1 was the start of all these things happening this year. So yeah, I just wanted to throw out my thoughts of week 1. I wanted to do this before week 1 started, but yeah, I'm happy to go ahead and just kind of put this out there where I'm thinking after week 1, we'll probably do this again after week 2 with a little more structure, but I mainly wanted to test this out, get this out. And so yeah, right now guys, I'm just putting AP Brent at the top and I'm putting them there for the whole season. I have not seen yet anything from a team so far in week 1 that would really take them down that step, right? So, not to mention, hell yeah, the Brody skin, Paquito skin from the M5. First ever, by the way, for Finals MVP. Congratulations, Flap. But, yeah, can't wait. And we'll see you guys in week 2. I'll be casting Friday and Saturday. So you guys can catch me on the stream, the English stream for MPL Philippines at Season 13. Then, Let me know what you guys think too in the comments about this setup. It's something new that I'm trying out. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the broadcast.